Okay, stand by. Laser's gonna go hot. Okay, laser's hot. Laser's hot. I'm gonna move it around just to kind of, in case you can't see it, I'm just gonna kind of move it around. And I don't know where the two went.
This is what a winning battle in a losing war looks like, far beyond public awareness. Tracking illegal immigrants with high tech in a dark night desert through a night vision scope. Out here along the Arizona-New Mexico state line is Hidalgo, New Mexico County Sheriff's Deputy Lieutenant Andrew Arredondo. He is using a mobile thermal imaging device to spot and then pinpoint with an infrared laser the precise location of at least 8 illegal immigrants who are hunkered down more than a mile away. Night vision goggles ensured several Border Patrol agents moving in their direction on foot could see the laser in the pitch black night. The hiding immigrants could not.
Yeah, they were in a low dirt spot, like it's a really low spot. It's surprising that you saw them because they were hunkered down and it was like a little bowl.
This is a high drama side of the greatest mass migration crisis in American history, which the public rarely sees, but too important now to miss. Network news often shows thousands of illegal immigrant border crossers calmly turning themselves in to Border Patrol agents in populated urban areas because they know the Biden administration will quickly process most right into America. Customs and Border Protection officials call these now familiar immigrant crowds give-ups. But out here is the other illegal immigrants who run, hide, and get away by hiking through a vast territory, where the Border Patrol presence has been thinned out or is very scant. These ones are called runners or gotaways if they're never caught, and based in part on counting the footprints they leave behind, an estimated record-breaking 1.5 million got away just since President Joe Biden's inauguration in January 2021. Runners who get away are potentially the most dangerous kind because, the thinking goes, they know they have criminal records or are wanted on warrants or are on U.S. gang databases and could get prosecuted for their illegal crossings or deported to face justice in home countries. Yet this immigrant category is ballooning right now, heading for some of the greatest volumes yet. Why? In anticipation of the end of a rapid expulsion policy from the COVID pandemic period, called Title 42, which was used to push back many runners to Mexico. Like these 9 Guatemalans just 42'd back last year, a surge over the border began early and is continuing. Far fewer give-ups saw the Title 42 replacement policy as sufficient deterrent to keep waiting in Mexico for a CBP app that they can use to apply for humanitarian permits. And give-ups have been pouring in non-stop. To process them into America, Border Patrol agents were redeployed from remote areas for crowd control and for processing duty in the border cities. Maybe no other sector will personify the problem more than the Border Patrol's El Paso sector, which covers West Texas and most of New Mexico all the way west to the Arizona border. It should be no wonder that the gotaways in the rural areas of El Paso sector nearly tripled, from 6,669 to 17,423 in April, after record-smashing peaks of more than 30,000 in December 2022, and again in January 2023, their numbers fell in this sector by half in February and by half again in March. But in April of 2023, thousands of give-ups began swamping the high-population El Paso area, and that required more Border Patrol agents to come in from the sector's hinterlands to process them into the country. The back door is becoming far less guarded out there. In the coming months, America should expect that numbers of potentially criminal alien runners will surge toward the weakened front lines as gotaways. Look at these holes cut out of the old wire mesh border wall inside Mexico, just across from Santa Teresa, New Mexico, and a major border patrol station. This George W. Bush-era fencing is where some of the backpacking traffic starts. Mexico's La Linea Cartel cut them for a booming runner business into the state of New Mexico. The Center for Immigration Studies found 7 just like it on a single 1-mile stretch on the Mexican side, and thousands that Border Patrol obviously patched up. But Border Patrol is clearly behind in its patching duty because these holes are in heavy use. While at one of the cutouts, CIS observed a cartel vehicle drop a group of immigrants just 100 yards further down, who ran to one of many unpatched holes. Elsewhere in New Mexico, they crossed through gaps in the wall that President Donald Trump was building, but was halted by President Biden.
That right there is a cartel vehicle. Inside are 2 armed men, smugglers. They just dropped a load. It looked like 6 or 7 right here.
The cartel feed across through into New Mexico to a highway where the runners can be picked up ranges from $2,000 to $8,000 per head. In New Mexico, the Democratic governor won't allow state police to join the dwindling ranks of Border Patrol agents in opposing this runner traffic, quite unlike neighboring Republican Governor Greg Abbott with his multi-billion-dollar Operation Lone Star. That leaves some willing sheriff's offices to protect their own communities. One of them is Hidalgo County Sheriff William Chadbourne of Lordsburg in southwest New Mexico, the one whose Lieutenant Arredondo was using thermal laser pointers to guide Border Patrol.
It's pretty much a constant flow. There's always something coming through this Hidalgo County.
And they're in camo. What's that all about?
Most of that is to avoid detection during the daytime. It does allow them to move through the brush and be a lot harder to see whenever they're trying to sneak through the area.
With that, why so much human smuggling? What do you attribute all that to through your territory?
It's part of it is that they started the wall, but they didn't finish it in some places. So there's holes in the fence, so to speak. And so these guys are coming through those basically directed areas to get where they're going. A lot of the no drugs and stuff like that, it's a zero loss game for them, the cartels. They charge $2,000 to $8,000 to go up or to cross their country into America. And then whenever they get to if they get captured, the cartel has lost nothing. They actually gain because next time when they want to come back through, if they get deported and want to come back, it's another $8,000.
Too often his deputies work all night with the few Border Patrol agents left out there and lose their quarry. But not this night. With all lights off, Deputy Sheriff Lieutenant Arredondo left his thermal imaging device to rattle off coordinates by radio to help guide 3 Border Patrol agents on foot to block one escape route. A couple of Army National Guardsmen up the road spotted more migrants that had peeled off from the original group. Then Border Patrol agents took off on ATVs with full lights, hoping to rouse the hiding group toward the other agents. After several hours of maneuvering this way as a multi-agency team, the crew eventually caught 14 immigrants in camouflage this night and brought them back to the staging area for processing.
So, where are you from?
What?
Where's everybody from?
Am I from?
Mexico?
Yeah.
They'll be checked for criminal history and warrants later and probably sent back to Mexico or even prosecuted.
As long as you can search them. Yeah. If you can't, then have them take it off. Yeah.
This was a winning battle in what appears now to be a losing war. With more agents redeploying to El Paso and elsewhere to deal with give-ups, all the odds are favoring the runners and gotaways now. The final end of Title 42 on May 12th has turned into a grand opportunity for La Linea cartel smugglers about to become even grander.
Before we got out there, we're in a grass patch, and I'm not kidding, they were like camouflage. Like Rachel rolled up to us, like, what the hell? It's like a little mound. And it's like, no, that's a body. All four of them were like that. Anybody just walk on the flashlight would have missed them.